and welcome to my channel. My name is Rose Writes and I write and narrate Miraculous Ladybug fanfiction. Thank you so much to ChocoLuck Chipz for allowing me to use their amazing artwork in my thumbnail. If you'd like to check them out, their link will be in the description box below. Also, if you haven't checked out the previous 18 parts of Adrienette April, be sure to check them out. I will also link those below as well. Now, please enjoy Adrienette April, Day 19. Fencing. "Today's the day, Tiki," Marinette said, flinging the covers off of her and scurrying to the floor from her loft bed. It was a rare occasion that Marinette bounced out of bed so early on a Saturday, especially with a boundless amount of energy. "Is this the day where we go back to sleep?" Tiki groaned, laying curled up in a tiny bed Marinette had created for her. "Nope," Marinette chirped energetically. "Today I'm auditioning... Wait, trying out? What is it? Whatever. I'm going to show Adrien that I'm an amazing fencer," she said while poking Tiki incessantly. Tiki slowly floated out of her bed, looking like she could use 5 cups of coffee. "Marinette, you don't fence. Actually, you don't do sports, period," she said with an eye roll that didn't faze her holder's positivity. "I know, but I'm a fast learner. I taught myself to sew. That's kind of like fencing with a tiny saber, right?" She grabbed a needle from her crafting desk, doing a few fencing jabs. "No, it's not at all like that," Tiki said, unimpressed and half asleep. Marinette put down the needle to throw on some clothes. "I'm going to fence so good that Adrien will forget Kagami and fall in love with me, and we'll have a big house with a little white fence, 3 kids, a hamster that we'll name It's Fence So Well, Not Fence So Good," Tiki corrected, breaking Marinette from her trance. "Okay, grammar police." Marinette laughed, then checked the time. "Holy macaroons, I'm going to be late! And I even woke up early. Let's go, Tiki." "So, you lot want to be fencers?" Master d'Argencourt eyed the line of hopeful teens. He received no response except for a few timid nods. The students who were already on the team stood behind the coach. It was hard to tell who was who, except for Kagami, who just had to be different, dressed in all red. Even her fencing saber was red. Marinette squinted her eyes, scowling at Kagami. Maybe they could have been friends if they both didn't have huge crushes on Adrien Agreste. Marinette snapped back to reality as d'Argencourt's loud, accented voice said, "To be a fencer, one must be strong like a buffalo, as gentle as a leaf dancing in the breeze, as swift as the coursing river," Marinette sang out loud. She stared around, realizing she had done that, her face turning red. The blank stares of her classmates made her want to hide her face with her saber mask. One student stifled a chuckle. A chuckle Marinette would recognize anywhere. Adrien Agreste. Her knees began to buckle, feeling like jello. "Focus, Marinette!" She mimed, zipping her lips and throwing away the key as Mr. d'Argencourt stared a hole through her. "If there are no other comments..." He cast a scathing glance towards Marinette. "Then let the fencing begin!" He held a saber in the air as his current pupils claimed their trainees. "Okay, where's Adrien?" Marinette peered left and right, all looking similar. In a daze, she bumped into something, falling to the ground. "Get up," a voice ushered with a hint of annoyance. When Marinette raised her eyes, she saw none other than her arch-rival with a hand reaching out, the other holding her mask. "Well?" "Ugh, Kagami. Beautiful Miss Perfect Kagami." Marinette timidly reached for her hand, her new fencing partner pulling her to her feet. "Wow, she's stronger than she looks." "Thanks, Kagami, but I really gotta," Marinette said, trying to bail. "All opponents are taken. Looks like you're with me." Her face and body were overall emotionless, but was that a hint of disdain? Great! Super! Where do we start? Marinette tried to appear cheerful. Kagami showed a quick basic strike. Like that. Your turn. Marinette tried to replicate the move, holding the saber as a bat. This isn't baseball, Marinette. This is fencing, a noble sport. Right, got it. Before she could try again, Mr. D'Argencourt yelled, "Across from your opponents!" Kagami took a stance in front of Marinette, now wearing her mask. Marinette panicked but stood her ground. Adrien walked beside her and whispered, "You've got this, Marinette! I'm rooting for you!" He gave her a wink, placing his mask on his face, obscuring his handsome features. A newfound burst of confidence built in her body as D'Argencourt said the magic words, "En garde! Prêt! Allez!" The sounds of metal sabers crashed together, ringing in Marinette's ears. Kagami lunged at Marinette, a fire in her heart, Marinette blocking over and over. "Why are you even doing this?" Kagami asked. "Because D'Argencourt asked us to?" Marinette said, carefully dodging Kagami's wrath. "No, this. Fencing. We both know it's not because you care about the art of fencing." Kagami's lashes grew in intensity. "I do care." Marinette struggled. "You're doing this to get close to Adrien," the fierce fencer said a little bit too loudly. Marinette could feel the stares of her masked classmates eavesdropping on their conversation. "What?" Marinette screeched. Man, what was she? A detective? Even if she was correct, Marinette would never admit it. Kagami had backed Marinette into a corner. "Tell me the truth." Marinette had never seen Kagami so worked up like this. "That's enough," Adrien said, separating the two girls. "What's going on?" He turned his concerned gaze to Kagami, who threw her bright red saber on the ground like a toddler throwing a tantrum, stomping towards the locker room. Adrien and Marinette shared a glance before running after her. Kagami sat on a bench, knees pulled tightly to her face to conceal her tears. "Kagami?" Adrien said, attempting not to spook her. "What's wrong?" They sat on either side of the teary-eyed Kagami. "You don't like me, do you?" Kagami asked quietly. "Me?" Adrien asked, stunned. "Of course I like you." Kagami scoffed. "Not like that, dummy. You don't like me like me." "Oh, He hesitated, shifting uncomfortably. "No, your silence speaks volumes." She interrupted. "Do you like Marinette?" Kagami asked bluntly. Marinette's eyes widened in horror. No, this wasn't happening. Now she would be publicly shamed and humiliated. Adrien looked at Marinette. That's it." Kagami responded softly, receiving a strange look from Adrien. "That look. The way you look at her is the way I wanted you to look at me." She stood, wiping her eyes. "I'm going to head back out." "What was that?" Marinette said after the double door swung behind Kagami. "I don't know. I do know that she was right." "Huh?" "I like you, Marinette. And I think you like me too," he said cautiously. "I do," Marinette said, not making eye contact. "Everyone knew except for you, and now you do, so..." "Oh. Well, I don't want to keep you from your fencing tryout. Should we..." "I only did fencing to get close to you," Marinette blurted out, then covered her mouth to avoid any more word vomit. "Really?" Adrien laughed. "Well, it worked." Thank you so much for listening. I really hope you enjoyed this chapter, and if you did, why not give it a big like and subscribe as well? If you're not sure what to comment, why not say Marinette is bad at fencing? And as always, stay miraculous!